So the first thing I just wanted to say, first of all, how are things on your end right now?
Things are really good. There's an ancient meditation proverb which says, "Established in the power of silence, perform action." And you can access that a few minutes twice a day when you transcend, and then you have some silence. But now the whole world is sort of coming back to some sort of quiet. And I don't know about you, but in some ways I feel my mind more powerful, more focused, clearer than it was before, because everything is just sort of settling down, and in that quiet is more power. So I don't want anyone to suffer, but I'm personally enjoying the break from the frenetic.
Yeah. Is there, I've noticed a lot of opportunity to connect with people. I've noticed a lot of opportunity to connect with myself. So my meditation, since I first started about 5 years ago to today, during this time has become very strong. I'd love to give some advice to people how they can ease in and start meditation during this time. Can you give some advice on that? Yeah.
Well, I think that meditation alone, first of all, yes, there are many. I think that there's some simple breathing exercises that you can do, which are not, which you could learn online. I can even tell you one now that are very good. Meditation taught online or mass meditations, they're okay, but they can be frustrating for people or difficult. I prefer, like I do with transcendental meditation, that you have a teacher, and that may be a few weeks before you can do it. But I think a simple breathing exercise is a wonderful way as a step towards learning to meditate.
I've noticed that during this time, with your own work, your podcast, can we talk about that? And first of all, you and I have been connected for a long time, and I always get great advice from you. And it's not always the same, but it's always very, very strong. It leads towards a real good focal point. And I've been listening to the podcast. And I want to tell you, first, tell me about the opportunity that you have right now and how you like that. Tell me about being in the podcast world. Yeah.
Well, it was an interesting thing because I, like you, am extremely busy. And about a year ago, a fellow who runs iHeartRadio said that he wanted me to do a once a month 45-minute podcast. I was even thinking of interviewing you for one of those the podcasts.
Yeah.
And then it sort of dropped. And then about a month and a half ago, I was informed that I had a 5-day-a-week podcast that I was somehow had committed to without knowing anything about it.
Yeah.
And I sort of have to do it prepared at 4 a.m, but I'm enjoying it. Do you like it?
I mean, listen, so nice. First of all, to hear, you're like I think of you as a mentor, a guru, and a friend, and like a big brother to me. And I think that hearing your voice every day, because I don't get a chance to connect with you every day, is, first of all, it's a really great thing. And I think the information, to be even more seriously, is so important right now. And I want to focus on that. There's a lot of fear in a lot of different areas of the world right now. And what I've learned from you and from TM, which I've been practicing for a long time, is that it can really change your own focal points on what you want to participate in or what you want to focus on. And I'm finding that your podcast and the meditation in combination are a great daily thing that I can do. And tell me about the experience for you. How has the response been for you? Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's kind of amazing. It just launched 2 weeks ago, and there's already almost 60,000 people have subscribed. And they said it's the fastest growing for iHeartRadio for this type of thing. And I think it's the time. I think meditation, people are craving quiet, silence, peace, inner peace, because doesn't exist out there. And I think it resonates. And I think that they also like hearing, because what it is, it's called Stay Calm with Bob Roth.
Yeah.
And it's on iHeartRadio or Apple or whatever. And I tell stories about people who have overcome challenges in their lives through meditation. And then I give a tip or two about how to be healthy in life and take 30 seconds of gratitude. And I think people like to see how meditation translates into something worthwhile. Not just the meditation for itself, but oh, this is a person who had an eating disorder. This is a person who went to a tough school, or this is a person who is a professional athlete. And this is how meditation translates. So I think it's going word of mouth. I'm glad. I just do them here in the privacy of my little apartment in New York City.
But I think that's the magic of it. I don't think people realize, when I tell people that I meditate or I tell them you should go try it, or, and I don't push on any specific, I go, just try, calming the mind. Can you tell me, like, during this time of when people are really tense, people are have anxiety, what can meditation do for them right now? I want people to know.
Okay. Well, first of all, and then I want to talk about some other stuff. What meditation can do, meditation properly understood and practiced, that gives transcendence. It gives you access to a field of silence that lies within you. The research shows that 20 minutes of transcendental meditation reduces a stress hormone called cortisol, which is your anxiety hormone, which is why you get sick when you're stressed, because it weakens your immune system. 30 to 40% reduction in cortisol levels during TM, 5% during sleep. Wow. So a complete rebooting of the system. There's an increase in a neurotransmitter called serotonin, which is your happiness neurotransmitter. That goes up and stays up. Cortisol goes down and stays down. It also wakes up the creative networks within the brain so you can solve problems, so you don't feel as paralyzed. But I also think we also need to be more attentive to the other parts of our life. It's not like, oh, I just meditate and everything is taken care of. I think we don't respect sleep nearly enough.
That's right.
We're supposed to be sleeping a third of our life, and we do it as either a nuisance or a desperation, or we squeeze it in, and I think we need to be take sleep as a sacred experience.
Wow. I'm starting to talk to people who have been meditating for many years, and they say that that has been the key tool to help them during this time. And I want to talk about some of the initiatives that you were doing at the David Lynch Foundation. Can we talk about Giving Tuesday?
What we did as a foundation, we got one donor who would match any donation.
Wow.
And so then that was a time that people could just take the time and it's sort of like Christmas. You think of your friends and you give. Well, on Giving Tuesday, you think of the people who need help, and then you give. And so we had a very successful Giving Tuesday. We brought in over $100,000, which is now the money is going to something called Healing the Healers Now, and that healingthehealersnow.org, and that is an initiative to bring transcendental meditation for free to the doctors and nurses and custodial staff and orderlies who are on the front lines of this COVID epidemic, and who are they're like soldiers, and they're safe protecting us.
Are we able to still contribute? I can share that link with our audience.
Yes.
That is great.
You go to davidlynchfoundation.org, and then there'll be a place where you can make a donation. And actually, the matching grant will go all the way through May.
What are some of the other initiatives that you're working on this year based on what's going on? What are some of the opportunities for David Lynch Foundation and yourself?
Well, the David Lynch Foundation, its focus is on at-risk vulnerable populations. So everybody these days is sort of at risk and vulnerable now. But the areas that we work with are women who are survivors of domestic violence, inner city school kids who attend under-resourced schools, veterans who suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, and now this work with healthcare providers. But a big initiative we're doing with veterans is we're doing a large study with the Veterans Administration in the U.S. with 6 different VA hospitals on the effects of the meditation for reducing PTSD, but also suicide.
Wow.
21 veterans in America take their own lives every day. And it's just a national shame that is ignored. And this is an initiative to reduce that by bringing the meditation to all veterans, because you don't know what, a wife said, I never knew my husband was that depressed.
Yes, right.
Suicide. So we really need to bring it as sort of a vaccination for anybody who wants it. So those are the areas we're working on. Tell me what you're working on now.
Oh, I've been really lucky.
I'm turning the table now.
Yes, and we shot an interview, which I'll be putting out actually properly after this COVID piece. But I've been working on storytelling. human narrative from my standpoint of how I'm seeing the world. I'm asking questions to people who I love and respect. But I also feel like right now, for me, it's a time to give. I have been very fortunate in my life to have great opportunities in the career that I've been flourishing in and enjoying and like love. I feel very lucky to have that capacity. And so I've been taking the opportunity to reach out to organizations and say, hey, do you have some content that I could repurpose for you? Do you have somebody that needs an interview done so I can put that out to the world? Is there something that I can do to continuously help from my home? Because we're content creators and storytellers, and there's so many more stories that are coming out of people right now because they have time to think about that. And I feel like after this, and this time shall pass, I believe it shall pass, that there will be some great stories, and I will be there to be a part of that. That's my opportunity, and that is also the opportunity for everyone, I feel, at this time. So that's sort of what I'm doing. I'm enjoying some family time, which I believe everyone should be. I think that is the best place that we can be at this time. I think if you have the opportunity to give, if you have the opportunity to share knowledge, and then I'm reflecting and connecting with friends like yourself. I want to make sure that you are a knowledge holder, and your knowledge is so important to the world right now, Bob. And I can't stress that enough right now. Let's share resources with each other, such as all the opportunities that the David Lynch Foundation are doing, the opportunity of listening to your podcast, sharing this interview. We need to make sure that we're still inclusive of information, that we feel like a community, and that we are going to get through this really together. Yeah, that's sort of my take towards all this.
And I want you to be sure to post this because it reveals you to be an extraordinary human being. And I'm very grateful that we had this time together.